What adrenal fatigue is, okay, is more than just a problem with your adrenal gland. And this is one of the big points, which is really important. Adrenal fatigue is really a dysfunction within somebody's stress response system. And that involves your adrenal glands for sure, right? The adrenals ultimately produce your main stress hormones, your cortisol and adrenaline. Those are kind of the most famous stress hormones, although there's some others kind of up in the brain. There's a hormone side of your stress response system that ends in the adrenals, releasing those stress hormones. But there's also a nerve side of your stress response system, which is technically called your autonomic nervous system. Think of autonomic as automatic. Basically, it's the part of our nervous system that we don't really have to think about, the part of the nervous system that controls our organs. Fairly simple part of the nervous system. Ultimately, two nerves coming from the brain going to every organ. One is the stress physiology nerve. They call that your sympathetic part of your nervous system. Speed up the heart like a tiger just jumped out at you. The other nerve is the opposite, more what we refer to as rest and digest, parasympathetic, more vacation mode, not stress response, right? So speed up the heart or slow down the heart. Essentially, it's that basic, right? Same with the gut, right? Turn it off, turn it on, that kind of thing. Neither of those two parts of your stress response actually calls the shots. The CEO of that stress response is a step above what we call the hypothalamus, which is part of that hormone system in the brain. And in there is things called the hippocampus, the amygdala, little parts of that limbic system, but it works together. That limbic system is constantly assessing your environment for danger. It's always assessing your external environment, receiving information from senses and perception. It's assessing your internal environment, receiving information from chemicals in the blood supply. So when the limbic system receives that information, it's just got to react. It's not a thinking part of our brain. It just reacts. Is this stimulus harmful, dangerous? Can this thing kill me? Do I got to jump this body into fight or flight? Hormones, nerves. Or is it the opposite? It's harmless, innocuous. I could just chill out in vacation mode and just let it pass. Well, what happens is, with a bit of a predisposition, genetic predisposition, and just enough chronic stress over time to overwhelm those genetics, that limbic system starts to get trigger happy and it starts to overperceive its environment as dangerous. So what happens at that point is our body starts to get stuck a little too often in stress physiology or fight or flight mode, releasing too much cortisol and adrenaline in the early stages of this. And it's that excess cortisol and adrenaline which wreaks havoc on the body, just causes all kinds of wear and tear. And the theme with regard to adrenal fatigue and stress is basically what will save your life short term will cause problems if you extend that. So long-term activation of stress response is going to cause some damage. That's what leads to these primary symptoms we associate with adrenal fatigue, pain, weight, insomnia, brain fog, anxiety, depression, even blood pressure and blood sugar issues can all come from too much stress hormone over time. When the limbic system gets sensitized, and we call that central sensitization in the literature, central for central nervous system, it gets sensitized so that minor stressors don't generate a minor response anymore, right? Minor stress, major response. So now we start to get stuck in fight or flight. That sensitization also happens in the rest of the nervous system. There's plenty of research out there showing what cortisol and adrenaline does to the entire nervous system, but even the sensory nerve. When you increase or sensitize your sensory nerves, you're going to have problems, right, with kind of overstimulation, right? So a lot of my patients come into me and they're like, Doc, I'm kind of sensitive to these bright lights and loud sounds bother me, harsh chemicals and smells, even touch. Somebody can just touch one of my patients, right? And that limbic system can register that as pain. So what can I do to reverse all this? Well, there's no magic medication or magic bullet or magic supplement that I can recommend to reverse all this, but there absolutely is a process. When you address this at its root cause, right, which is a dysfunctional stress response system, including the adrenals, not only, but including the adrenals, when you target that whole system, the hormone side, the nerve side, the brain part of this, in an effort to kind of calm it down, settle it down, and then support and balance it, you absolutely can get ahead of it. Absolutely can get ahead of it. But it's got to be comprehensive, and we have to address it on multiple levels, which includes lifestyle modifications. It includes dietary interventions. Yes, supplements, vitamins, things like that. There's a lot that we can do to help to calm and settle this system over time. But ultimately, when you shift this physiology back into balance and stop causing all that damage from cortisol and adrenaline, those symptoms, little by little by little, incrementally, they just go away. If you have any other questions, concerns, by all means, reach out to us. I've got patient coordinators who are there to talk to people. I've got an assessment tool on my website to see if adrenal fatigue is a thing you might be dealing with. So you can start with that. You can go to my YouTube channel, reach out to us on Facebook, and by all means, like the information, share the information as much as possible. We are just trying to get this information out to as many people as possible. All my best.